Suspended after the audio of a controversial phone call was leaked, Thailand's Prime Minister is now fighting for her political survival. Paetongtarn Shinawatra has been facing growing public anger, so will she survive this crisis, and what does it mean for democracy in Thailand? This is Inside Story. Hello again, I'm James Bays. The Thai Prime Minister has 15 days to make the case to keep her job after the Constitutional Court suspended her for a breach of ethics. This comes after a phone call between her and Cambodia's former leader Hun Sen discussing an ongoing border dispute. A leaked recording of that call, in which the PM referred to Hun Sen as uncle and appeared to criticise a Thai army commander, has sparked outrage and protests. And her party's majority in Parliament has dramatically reduced after a coalition partner withdrew its support. So what's next for Paetongtarn Shinawatra? Is it about a rivalry among Thailand's major political parties, or is there more at play? And for a country that's seen its fair share of military coups, what will it mean for democracy? We'll get to our panel of guests in just a moment. But first, this report from Imogen Kimber.
There's turmoil in Thai politics after the top court suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra. The case was triggered by a controversial leaked audio from a phone call she had with a senior Cambodian official. Shinawatra has 15 days to make her case.
I will do my best to show my true intention regarding the leaked audio clip, that my intention was 100% pure, that I did it for the nation, to protect our sovereignty, to protect the lives of the military.
Anger had been growing about the call, with protesters demanding the Prime Minister step down.
The Prime Minister must resign to take responsibility for her cluelessness. She's utterly immature and has no leadership skills.
The call was about an incident in May when Cambodian and Thai troops fought on a decades-old border dispute. A Cambodian soldier was killed in the incident. Shinawatra called veteran politician and President of Cambodia's Senate, Hun Sen, uncle during their call, and appeared to criticise a Thai army commander. She said it was a negotiation tactic.
I cannot accept the way she talked like she was giving in to Cambodia. We've never had a Prime Minister who's so weak. We've never had a Prime Minister that's so soft toward a country that's smaller than us.
Many of the leaders at the protest were from the right-wing nationalist group Yellow Shirts, which led rallies in 2006 that resulted in a military coup, forcing out her father, Thaksin Shinawatra, from office. Another coup in 2014 ousted Thaksin's sister and Paetongtarn's aunt, Yingluck Shinawatra. The Shinawatra and their party Pheu Thai have long been rivals with the Bumjai Thai party. But for the past 2 years, the two sides buried their rivalries to ensure the progressive Move Forward party did not take power. After the leaked audio of the phone call, the Bumjai Thai party pulled out of the coalition, leaving the Prime Minister's Pheu Thai party with a very slim majority. Already dealing with an ailing economy, now Thailand could also be facing a political crisis. Imogen Kimber, Al Jazeera for Inside Story.
Well, let's discuss all of this further with our guests today. All of them are joining us from the Thai capital, Bangkok. We have Thitinan Pongsudhirak, a political scientist at Chulalongkorn University. Also joining us is Boonpracong, a political analyst, and Kasit Piromya, a former Thai Minister of Foreign Affairs. Thank you, all three of you, for joining us today on Inside Story. Thitinan, if I can start with you. The Prime Minister suspended for 15 days. She needs to make her case to keep the job. Do you think she's going to survive?
She's in a precarious position. We've had a lot of drama here. She's been suspended for an unethical conduct linked to her leaked audio clip with former Prime Minister of Cambodia, Hun Sen. And so she'll be out of her position as Prime Minister, but she's still is the culture minister, so she can still participate in the cabinet meetings and then maybe try to still somehow exert some influence over the government, running of the government. But longer term, I think she's embattled now. It would be very difficult for her to outlast or overcome this predicament. I mean, the charge that she's under is a serious one. I mean, unethical on the one hand, but even to the popular sentiments, what she said, calling Hun Sen the uncle and, promising things or pledging to do things for him based on compromising Thailand's national interests and so on. I think this is something that the Thai people, even Thai people, don't like, upset by. So I think it's hard for her now to continue. She had the choice earlier of doing something about this, but now we're in a volatile, kind of precarious brinkmanship. Her future is uncertain, but also Thailand's future is very murky.
And Sean, it's not just the constitutional court that she needs to sort out. She's also got to worry about her majority, because she's only got a very tight majority, and so she could fall with a vote of no confidence, if I'm right.
Well, we have to wait officially for the next ruling, whether it would only suspend her or dismiss her from the job. And as we know, it's only a year ago when the previous Prime Minister from Pheu Thai, Mr. Sethar, the Prime Minister then, has lost his job. So we have to see what happened. But I think that the chance to survive for her still is intact. If she could make a good case by appear in front of Constitutional Court to make her case, that possibility. Yes, Dr. Thitinan point is correct that this government is frankly in a difficult position. However, we have to wait how she made her case and see the ruling, which should come in within a month, with Thailand being in this current stage.
Thitinan, tell me the background here to the current crisis, because it's about this border dispute that's been going on with Cambodia, but that's something that's been going on literally for years, hasn't it?
For centuries, and most recently in 2011, 2012, 13, and also I think back in the 1960s. So it's a long-standing border dispute. There's no clear demarcation between the two countries, Cambodia and Thailand. And both sides feel kind of resentful of what's happened. The French, I think, drew a bad map for the Thailand, Siam, and then Cambodians 1,000 years ago, they were the big empire here, so they feel a bit cheated by what's happened over the centuries. But the recent border clash happened after about May 28th, after some long-running arguments between the two sides, and then there was a gunfight, a minor, really gunfight on May 28th, but it claimed the life of a Cambodian soldier, and that was unaddressed. And then pretty soon, before we knew it, the situation spiraled out of control. It became a nationalist frenzy on both sides. Prime Minister Hun Sen, the former Prime Minister Hun Sen, had to get behind it, and now he's really much in charge. And then Prime Minister Paetongtarn, the Thai Prime Minister, tried to defuse the situation by placing a call to Hun Sen. But in the process of doing that, the conversation, I think she compromised her position as Prime Minister, and also undermined Thailand's national interest by calling him uncle and revealing her antagonism for the Thai army commander, and then telling him that she can do things for him and just restore normalcy before May 28th. So that's very compromising, very damaging, and in the process, this became the pretext for the senators to file an ethical misconduct charge against her, and that's what we're seeing now with the suspension. And it could lead to expulsion, ejection, but it also could be exonerated. But nevertheless, in either case, she's under the gun. There's street protests against her. Her majority is very slim in parliament. And public sentiments are very upset by what she said. So it's very hard, I think, medium term, longer term, for her to continue in office.
OK, let me bring in Kasit to the conversation. There are allegations that the Prime Minister has a lot of influence on her by her father, a former Prime Minister. And of course, this phone conversation was with Hun Sen, who's technically not the leader of Cambodia anymore. He's the former leader. seems to be in both countries, perhaps you could make allegations there are powers behind the throne here.
Yes, I think the Shinawatra family and the Hun family both have quite a very influential and quite an absolute power in that respective political arenas. And the two families for years have been close friends. And some of their offspring did marry one another and so on. And the picture or the image that has been coming out to the Cambodian as well as the Thai public is a very cordial relationship between the two families who are in control of their respective political powers in their countries. And suddenly, they became arch enemies, and we do not know what were the causes that led to the outburst of Somdet Hun Sen and the trick that he played on Paetongtarn, the prime minister, by revealing the telephone conversation. So
okay, let me bring Sean back. Let me bring Sean back in, if I can, Kasit, because we've talked about the current flashpoint, which is the border dispute. But as Thitinan said, that's something that's gone on for centuries. I think to try and understand exactly what the underlying problems, though, perhaps, Sean, you'll agree with me, we have to go back to the 2023 election, because you have two key groupings in Thai politics. One, the party of the Shinawatra family, and then the other one, more conservative parties with ties to the military. But remind us, 2023, neither of those groupings came out on top.
You are hit it right in the head. But frankly, the fact that the Shinawatra family hold on Thai politics is a little bit overstated as time goes on. The Pheu Thai party is far from strong as it used to be. In this past election, 2023.
Yeah, just to be clear, the Pheu Thai party is the party of the Shinawatra family and their supporters. It's had several names in the past as well.
That's right, because previously it used to be the most powerful family when in 2005, when Mr. Thaksin was the prime minister. The party has won something like close to 400, more or less like 375. And then that the influence of Pheu Thai party afterward, it has been somewhat not the same as it used to be. There is a new party called People Party, which won a substantial sum, close to 150, which happened to be far more than Pheu Thai has won.
Just to interrupt you there, at the time it was called the Move Forward Party, and it was banned from politics and had to change its name, and its leaders were banned from politics, and it now has new leaders. I see a recurring pattern here, Thitinan, of the Constitutional Court getting involved and influencing the outcome of Thai politics.
There seems to be a deliberate effort to systematically weaken, destabilize major Thai political parties. You're right, this is not a one-off. It's not an aberration. It is a pattern that goes back 20 years. And basically, the parties that have won elections in Thailand have been dissolved time and again, and its leaders have been banned time and again. This is basically a way of keeping democratic institutions weak in order to keep traditional institutions strong. And you see that leading the way is the Constitutional Court. You've seen party dissolutions like this, very similar. After the protests in 2005, 2006, in 2007, dissolution of the first Thai Thai predecessor of Pheu Thai. And then again in December 2008, the second party. And then now we have Pheu Thai. But along the way, you also have the predecessor of the Move Forward Party, Future Forward, dissolved, and then Move Forward. And now you have the third party. So basically in Thailand, in the last 2 decades, elections have really not counted on its merits. You can win the elections, but afterwards, all these agencies, Election Commission, Constitutional Court, Anti-Corruption Commission, They make up the numbers. They can manipulate, subvert the outcome in order to get the final kind of government that they can put up with. The problem for them is that they cannot get parties to win elections for them. And that's why Thailand has been stuck for the last 2 decades. That's why we see this crisis now, today, even today.
OK, Kasit, let me bring you in on this. So Move Forward won the most votes in 2023. They were unable to govern and then they were banned from politics and had to rename themselves. And so then you have these two groupings that traditionally are opposed to each other coming together in an uneasy coalition which has now broken down. And at the same time, the Prime Minister's father, Thaksin Shinawatra, back in 2023, was allowed to come back to Thailand after years in exile. Was there some sort of grand deal done in 2023? And if so, why is it now breaking down?
First, I believe that there was a grand deal of the two conservative political entities. One, the Thaksin one, and then the other is a sort of a military-backed. But the two forces have joined forces in order to challenge or to overcome the expansion of the Move Forward and now the People's Party. Because the People's Party aimed for fundamental transformation of Thailand to become a more democratic entity, questioning the role of the military in politics and all of that. So the conservative sides, both the Thaksin side and the military-backed entities and so on, have joined forces to deal with the Move Forward or the People's Party. But in the political arena, when elections come, the two conservative forces have to compete with one another all over Thailand. You know, in the sort of the middle-class conservative segment of the Thai society, because both of them have no inroads into the arena where the younger generation vote for the People's Party.
OK,
So
let me bring in Sean. A grand deal then that seems to have collapsed. Why has it collapsed? Because it's just not what's going on the political horizon. We mentioned Thaksin Shinawatra, the former Prime Minister. He was allowed to return to Bangkok. Now he's in court on charges of lèse-majesté, that is insulting the king in an interview with a South Korean publication in 2015, but also the deal that he came back on, being allowed to stay in a VIP suite in a police hospital. That's now, it seems, being reinvestigated.
I have to say that from time to time, the democratically elected Prime Minister like Pheu Thai for the past 2 or 3 started with Prime Minister Yingluck or Prime Minister Srettha.
Yeah, just to be clear, Prime Minister Yingluck, that was Thaksin's sister, so the aunt of the current Prime Minister. You have to keep track of the dynasty here.
Yeah, but what happened was that these 3 governments were allowed to last for no longer than 2 years. Then the conservative factions are becoming nervous and want to take down, which is the case in point of what happened with the demonstration this past weekend by the conservative elite that has 30,000 people show up. But the fact that people always have to be patient that Miss Paetongtarn situation evolved from the revelation of private conversation, which is really a bad form for diplomatic norms, which shouldn't have happened. But when it did happen, the conservative used it as a launching point to bring about the military coup. But the fact that Constitutional Court has ruled this way, it will reduce political tension substantially, and we have to wait and see how eventually the Constitutional Court will rule whether to permanently suspend Ms. Paetongtarn or allow her to continue, even if weak as it is. Most Thai political pundits expect that the current government will stay until early next election, where the current government will call for a new election in the early 2026.
Let me bring in Thitinan again on this. You mentioned a coup there in your answer. The last coup was in 2014, but since Thailand got rid of an absolute monarchy in 1932, there have been 13 successful coups. Is there a risk of a coup now? Or the allegation I've heard from some is the military don't think they need coups anymore. They can use the Constitutional Court.
That's part of it. I mean, why, a coup is not needed, because you can use other means. So on the one hand, there are tanks and there are generals and there's a coup. On the other hand, there are judges and there's a law and there's the Constitutional Court. So you can affect a similar outcome. The difference is that a coup allows powers that be to take power directly, to take office directly, to seize power. Constitutional Court, you can only prevent the people you don't want to be in office from being in office. So you can kick them out, but you cannot really take the office yourself. I think that the coup option is not attractive even to the would-be coup makers, because the last coup in 2014 did not do so well. The coup maker, the lead coup maker, General Prayut, I think he had an administration that does not have a good record. He ran up a lot of public debt. There was no good future economic policy for Thailand's future. And I think there was international ostracism, criticism. And I think by all accounts, it was not a very successful coup period of 9 years. So I think for the military itself, I mean, all the would-be coup makers, this is really the last resort for them. I mean, short of that, they can, the Constitutional Court has been doing the bidding, has been dissolving parties, banning politicians. The problem for them is that they cannot get their own people in power. So that's why I think the coup option is never off the table, because now we have a very intractable crisis now. You have the prime minister suspended. We have no real prime minister. There's a kind of a limbo, a prolonged limbo, and there's a leadership vacuum. And so if this goes on for some days and it goes into months, and there'll be more calls for the military to break the impasse. So that coup option could gain some more traction if this intractable situation
Let me bring in Kasit.
persists.
What do you make of that analysis about the possibility of a coup, and the military don't want a coup, and their best option is using the Constitutional Court, but down the line, Thitinan says, maybe they may need to resort to a coup?
But so far, everything is still under a democratization process. And the Constitutional Court is part of democracy. And it is an ongoing process. So I don't expect the return of the coup d'etat. That's the first point. Second, the younger generation, those who voted for the People's Party, will not stay put. They would come out to oppose any more military intervention. After 20 years, I think that Thai society has become more sophisticated in terms of political participation with the help of the modern telecommunication technology. It is not going to be an easy meat for the military establishment to intervene in politics. Besides, the monarch is the supreme commander, and whatever military generals going to do, they have to think twice whether that they would, I think, undermine the very position of the supreme commander in the personality of the monarch.
Thitinan, in terms of the problems the current coalition face, one is the economy. It's very sluggish. Tourism figures are down. People are showing discontent about the state of the economy. But isn't, if you take a step back, this political instability that Thailand has suffered for so many years one of the reasons that affects Thailand's economy? When you compare it to a country, for example, like Vietnam, that was very far behind Thailand a few years ago. Yes, it doesn't have democracy, but it has stability.
Well, first, you have to realize that the Constitutional Court is part of the Constitution, but many would object to or suspect or question its role in the democratic outcome. The Constitutional Court has undermined democratic outcomes for years. But it's part of the constitution in 2017. The constitution of 2017 was drafted by a military-appointed committee. For the economy, yes, Vietnam, Thailand now is an established laggard among the ASEAN economies. It's languishing. The growth trajectory of Thailand used to be 6-7% 30 years, 40 years ago. Now it's down to 1 to 2%. And no good future ahead. Even the tariff negotiations with the US is in limbo now because of the lack of a clear government that we have now. So, moving forward, stability, yes, continuity, yes. Vietnam is a different recipe. They have their own issues. They have their own potential. But I'm thinking of Indonesia, even Philippines, Malaysia. They have their problems, but they have their acts together. For Thailand, the last 20 years, I'm beginning to think that, the deal that you mentioned earlier was not really a deal to move Thailand forward. It was a deal to get rid of Move Forward Party that won the election. And that's why Thaksin was brought back. How can Thaksin be brought back from exile and given a royal clemency, reducing his jail sentence from 9 years to 1 year? But yet he and his daughter and so on, they are not allowed to really govern Thailand. So basically, this is a way of keeping Thailand messy and weak. And I think that, the various powers that be, maybe they don't really care about how Thailand can move forward.
OK, Sean, very quickly at the end, would you say, given everything that we're seeing, that Thailand right now is a properly functioning democracy?
I more or less agree with Kun Kasit Pirom that we are moving forward step by step in terms of democratization. And you can't pinpoint, looking at our neighboring country with so much absolute government, I wouldn't call it the other way, and even look at 3 comparative nations, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar next door. I believe that this government would go along and Thailand will have its own place in society. It may not match the 6% growth rate in the past, but it would go along with Thailand being more politically active and more dynamic than any other country and still exist as a society, functioning society, no matter what anybody say. I more or less think that it's just an ongoing process of Thailand as a nation. We are moving forward, but in a way that is hard to see from the outside besides living here.
Thank you very much, and thank you to our guests today, Thitinan Pongsudhirak, Sean Boonpracong and Kasit Piromya. If you missed any of today's discussion or came in late, remember this programme and all our previous editions are available to watch anytime you want at aljazeera.com. What do you think of the political situation in Thailand? You're welcome to post your thoughts on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/AJ Inside Story. We're also on X. Find us at AJ Inside Story. That's it for now from me, from all the team here. Please keep yourself safe and well. Bye-bye for now.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.